Okay. Thank you all so much for your visionary work and for being around the corner. I think that all of your brilliant expressions are such incredible manifestations of the future, of right now. And it was such an honor to absorb your brilliance, your wonderful artistry in every case. And what an honor to be here with you doing a Q&A on a Saturday morning. I love you all. We're gonna keep it moving because this is an epic Q&A. There are over a dozen of us here. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Jackalope, you can call me Sir. Castles and Christy. I thought I would start with you. Castles, you are a world-renowned artist. Christy, you are a epic musician. You two came together with this video for You Can Call Me Sir's album. Tell us about the synthesis of the video and what it was like collaborating as a real life couple.
Well, all right. I mean, we live together. We've been together for many years, and it's only in the last maybe 3 or 4 years that we've really started to collaborate artistically, which has been an amazing kind of furthering and deepening of like getting to know each other in a completely different way. And for me, like making music videos has been like a total release because a lot of my work can be quite weighty, like dealing with kind of these like heavier, more didactic, socio-political issues in a very direct way. And so the sort of magic and alternate universe of a music video, and then just being able to have like pleasure and play, and to get to bring that pleasure and play, have that be part of like what we do together as a creative force, has been like really generative and a release, you know, especially like looking back on that video now that we made almost a year ago in such different circumstances, you know, all the bodies like touching, and you know, all the sweat and all the physicality. I mean, it feels like an extra decadent pleasure in this moment. What do you say?
What do you say, Christy?
Yeah, come on.
It's a fun collaboration. I mean, we just have wildly different skills. We're just trained in different areas, and I've been a musician my whole life, and Castles has been a visual artist. And so it's nice to be able to, in collaborating, trust that the other person is going to help, you know, bring us to the level that we want or need to be when we're working in different realms. And so it was super fun. And I think part of, you know, it's very uncomfortable for me to be in front of a camera. It's not a place that like I feel like I shine necessarily. So working with Castles is cool because they know that. And so you're always sort of touching on something that brings it back to my individuality or me as a person. So in Jackalope, you know, it's sort of, we're taking down the patriarchy one blood sacrifice at a time, you know. And for being a dominatrix in another part of my life, that just makes sense to torture the man. So it becomes like a really fun way of just like hanging out with my friends one day, and at the end we have your masterpiece. But
not my masterpiece, your masterpiece.
Our masterpiece, Jackalope. So it was just a lot of fun. So
it's certainly a masterpiece. How did you get that guy to float down the LA River face down?
Well, that is our dear friend Mark Steger, who is an incredible performance artist, and he used to be part of this troupe called Osseous Labyrinth, which is like named after the inner part of the ear that deals with balance and kind of I guess orientation of the self in relation to the outside world. And he is like a movement choreographer for film and television, and specifically does like creatures and monster choreography. But his background is in this like amazing body morphing and mutation, and he's just down. I was like, we want to do this scene. We want the victim to end up, you know, floating down the LA River. And he like wrapped up his junk and took a deep breath and went into that toxic, insane water. I mean, we like lightly suggested it, and he was like, let's do another take. Like, he was down for the cause, but really just like an incredibly, obviously like committed and up for it performer. So it didn't take a lot of wrist turning. He was susceptible to the idea, the notion, and down to be the sacrifice, if you will.
Well, we all make sacrifices for our artwork, so fabulous to find collaborators who are willing to, absorb toxic material for art. Thank you guys so much for your work. Daniel and Isabel, you are the creators of Playing for Keys music video from Daniel's video. And did you guys have a third person too? Darren Turner. Hey, Darren. Okay, so all three of you are here. And if we could unmute them, Cheryl, that would be wonderful.
Hi.
Hi. And could you tell me really quickly your different roles in the project?
Yeah. I'm Daniel. I'm one member of Crook. Isabel Shazam is the producer and choreographer for all of the videos, because it's like the third piece in a trilogy. This video as well was kind of dreamt up with Isabel and Darren, who also, Darren is the director, and who I dreamed this kind of triptych up with starting like 10 years ago.
Work. Hey, Darren.
Hey.
What was the creative process like when the three of you came together? Did you say 10 years ago?
Yeah.
The collaboration started, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, we started collaborating about 10 years ago. This is our third project together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we go back many years, and just we have at this point, an unspoken language, it feels like, between everybody. And it's really important for me to understand Daniel's vision. There's always imagery when he's writing songs, and so we talk about that. And it's very organic. We find the narrative just through sitting with each other and just talking about what's important to us, and what we see, and then Izzy comes in and helps make that a beautiful reality.
That's fabulous. Where did you shoot? It looks like it's perhaps the Salton Sea or where was that?
We shot the first day out at a salt flat out in about, what was it, like an hour outside of Pioneer Town, east. And then we shot the second portion at Pollution Studios.
Cool. Isabel, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm actually also teaching like an anatomy dance class right now. You guys say hi.
Nice. Hey.
Yeah, I know, it's like so crazy, like scheduling. Yeah, so I'm at a ballet studio as we speak.
Nice. That's such a shiny white floor.
Yeah. It's good to turn on. It's slippery,
Cool. And what kind of dance class is choreography a part of your contribution to Playing for Keys?
Yes.
Oh, tell us about that.
Well, it really started back 10 years ago with the first in the triptych, Fault. And so for me in this work, it really is just listening to Daniel's vision and then trying to help Daniel embody that vision and bringing it out into movement. And it's really a collaborative process. And then I would say for the later works, especially playing for keeps more, since, you know, I'm used to working with Darren as a director. So Darren brought in a lot of different scenarios that he envisioned, and then we worked collaboratively on the, you know, on what we wanted to see the performers doing.
It's incredible. It's an amazing video. Daniel, where can we see more of your work?
Well, the other two videos are up on YouTube and Vimeo, just Crook Fault and Crook Lavender. And after we release this, we're going to release the whole like short film put together so that there's a kind of a context given to people who have just been seeing this one at a time. It maybe doesn't translate outside of me and Annie both existing in each of the first two. This final piece, once we cut everything together, ties those worlds together both with color and with movement. So YouTube or Vimeo.
Fabulous. And yeah, we're gonna just keep on moving.
Yeah.
Peter Kalish, Mode. Can we unmute Peter? Hey, Peter.
Can everyone hear me?
On my interface. Yeah. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's yeah, so great to be here. Tell us about your video.
Oh yeah, so that whole song and the video is like, I guess, about my like I guess criticism of like the way gay culture has been commodified, you know, by consumer society and capitalism and stuff. And like I was just in this, when I wrote that song, I was just in this state of like frustration and also wanting like a higher sense of purpose in like me as a gay person. And I was just, you know, thinking back at the history of like the pride parades and stuff, and how those, you know, the genesis of pride was like, it was like an activist movement, you know. And it feels as if a lot of, I mean, I'm just going to speak on like gay male culture, but like a lot of it is like kind of hedonistic and very you know, hypersexual, and like there's a lot of like substance abuse going on and stuff like that. And I was just, that whole song is about like me kind of tearing down all those, I don't know, it's like trying to tear down all of that hedonism and kind of get back to a place where we have like a sense of purpose and a sense of activism and like our identities. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. You know, I think that artists are uniquely qualified to kind of see around the curve and peek into the future and what's coming next. And I was struck with all of your works on how you all sort of, you know, anticipated the moment that we're in currently. And it's astounding, I think, on one level that these works were made before 2020, because it seems like they're all so prescient right now. I also just happened to notice that there was the go-go dancer in all three of your videos.
Oh,
I
yes.
thought I would have go-go dance here. He is an everyday good dad and appears in all your videos.
Yeah, one of my stars.
We're maintaining social distance. Yeah, that's better. So check out Marvel A-Rex, backup dancer.
Yeah, they're the money maker right there. That's the money maker.
Yeah, pretty cute. Romy, I would love to talk about your work Before the Blue, which is just bombastic, wild, outrageous, intense, visceral. It's such an incredible distillation of chaos and beauty. What?
Thank you.
How did the project come about?
Hi guys, I'm Romy. I'm from Brazil. I think I'm the only one from South America here. I don't know. Yeah.
Represent.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really good to be here and with all you guys thinking about the future. And this work is a second work of like a series of chaos, and I call like a trilogy about the end of the world. So the first video is Safira, and the second is Before the Blue, with Valeria, is a really good friend and amazing singer, and Caio is a composer. So we work together to make this work, and it's really I was thinking that is really, when I started to think, the work was 2 years ago, before all the coronavirus and all these things that are going on now. So it's crazy, like thinking what is going on now. This mixture of present, future, and past.
Absolutely. And it's so, I think, you know, creating work, your relationship to it changes as you move forward through time. And it remains, you know, the work remains this kind of this static thing that's somehow always changing. How do you feel in 2020 looking at Before the Blue?
I think the only way is this back to nature, like what's going on in Before the Blue, like the world is ending and we have to go back to what it really means, you know, nature. And I think about this, and I think the diversity and thinking it's really hard sometimes to express in another language. Like what is going on, the diversity could be a way to show people that we are not the end, but we are a really good way to make the end better. I don't know if I could express myself, but it's like that.
You're clear as Easter bells. I think your work has so many layers of, you know, sound design and visuals and performance. How did you?
There's a crew, like a lot of people working with me. I could do this work because of foundation here in my city, because like the conditions in Brazil are really bad. I think you all guys know about what's going on here. So I had this chance last year with some money that I was invited. So I could work with a lot of friends, like a writer whom first he wrote the text. It was like a poetry, like in 3 chapters. And then me and Caio, we work in the music, like we made the 2 original songs that are in the project. And then we shoot. So we had these 3 layers, you know, of work. So when we shoot, we had the musics, but we didn't have like the plot. It was kind of a crazy process, really artistic. And we found the cave first, and we went there in like a kind of a artist residency with all the crew, and like we had ideas, and it was crazy, like 20 people in the cave, and it was raining.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I hope that
Thank
you are working on something right now. What are you going to do next?
Yes. Yeah, next I'm working in the Stone Movies. It's my producer. You know, the first, Before the Blue is the second work. The first is Safira. It's with the musician Felipe Cato. I don't know if you heard about him. He's an amazing Brazilian singer. So it's him and this Águia, the bird, Águia.
Mm-hmm.
It's him and Safira, this falcon, And this one I shoot in 16 millimeters, 8 millimeters, and digital. So it's kind of mixed, and there's some colorizations, animations. It's kind of crazy. And we are gonna release the musics, the two original musics from the project.
It's fabulous. Thank you so much for your work, Romy, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, of course. Sasha Wurtzel, joining us from the Everglades. Am I right about that? Sasha, your work is incredible. This is an address, a 17-minute film that kind of resurrects archival footage from the past. Tell us about it.
Sure.
I know it's not a question. Should I put it, how did you arrive at this footage, and what was the process like creating the film?
Sure. Well, first, thank you, Zachary and Cheryl and Outfest. And it's also an honor to be in conversation with all of you. So congratulations on your work. So this is an address started probably, I guess, about 10 years ago when I was working on a film called Happy Birthday, Marcia, with artist and director Tourmaline, who's my collaborator on that project. She introduced me to this archival footage that was shot in 1995, an interview with Sylvia Rivera and a few others living on the Christopher Street piers. And then 5 years after I saw that footage and sort of filed it away as something really amazing, but we weren't sure that we were going to work with it in that project, I started working at the newly opened Whitney Museum downtown in the Meatpacking District. I was working in the education department there. And I was struck by the fact that my office view looked directly onto the site where that footage was shot 20 years earlier. And as I was working there over the course of 4 years, I started to see that landscape of the waterfront, which has a rich queer history, of course, the piers, sex, cruising, artists working on the piers, Alvin Beltrop, David Wojnarowicz. I saw that whole landscape changing, cranes going into the sky and starting to bulldoze these buildings, and sort of this history that I had learned about from that footage had already been erased, and then even more so, the sort of clues in the landscape were also being erased, and these kind of luxury condos and shopping centers and hotels were rising along that shoreline. And so I started documenting it, just sort of obsessively, the shift, and then started working with bringing those two footages together from 1995 and now to kind of think about the way in which this is something that runs through a lot of my work. I'm just obsessed with the way in which the past sort of is always inextricably shaping the present, in fact, kind of haunting it. And it's present and it's there, right? So it's kind of, that was the birth of that piece.
That's incredible. I didn't realize that the footage of destruction of buildings being deconstructed was current footage. So that's the kind of pairing that's happening. It's between the past and the present.
Yeah, and that was kind of intentional too. I think there's some hints in the title cards at the end, but I wanted to, I intentionally worked with VHS footage, which was similar to the archival source material, because I really was interested in kind of blurring those kind of temporal binaries so that you don't totally know what's happening when or now, because it's all ongoing, right? This is part of a long legacy of, displacing or forcibly exiling people. This is Lenape territory, then it's an industrial waterfront, then you have artists and queers taking up the piers, then you have folks who are unsheltered or dealing with the HIV/AIDS pandemic there, and then being displaced, and now it's becoming this like cultural coastline that it's being marketed as. So kind of looking at that long legacy of those things and building those connections was the goal with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this, I mean, I would love to see this film at the Whitney. Has it had a life in art spaces as well as in festivals?
Yeah, the piece was first shown as, there's a second part to the film, as a 2-part installation at the Brooklyn Museum in a group exhibition that was celebrating the 50th anniversary of Stonewall with a bunch of incredible artists. So it's shown there, and hopefully will continue to have a life maybe in some museum spaces as well as in sort of festival contexts. And I'd love to do some, local and community screenings too in New York City too. Yeah.
Cool. Can you tell us just really quickly about what you're working on now?
Yeah, so I am currently, after living in New York for 15 years, I relocated back home where I grew up to South Florida, and I'm living on the outskirts of the Everglades, and I'm working on a experimental feature documentary that looks at, it reimagines a book from the 1940s about the Everglades, and it looks at kind of how Florida's climate crisis and all these entangled inequities are really rooted in the ways that the land was colonized, legacies of settler colonialism, white supremacy, and trying to kind of unpack and understand that. So hopefully we can change our future course.
Yeah, I'm so ready for your feature. I wish that it were coming out tomorrow. Can't wait. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Charlie Brissy, you are amazing. I'm so charmed by Candace Major. I was just fell in love with you watching it. The text is incredible. You've kind of strung this piece, the foundation, I think, is really a text piece, animation, live action. What was the synthesis of this film?
Yeah, good question. Honestly, this film was kind of an accident. It sort of it was birthed out of procrastinating a different project. I was doing this writing project that was sort of dense and theoretical and very much sort of following these like academic protocols of how we distribute ideas. And I just was so over it. I was so over trying to write through or work through or think through these ideas in this particular way, when most of those ideas had to do with movement and dance and interspecies ecologies and these things that are all about movement and imagining new futures, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just started drawing these animations one day, and then the text got more and more, I guess, queer in some ways, more science fiction in some ways, and the whole thing just took a hard right turn in this other direction. And I just kind of let it become this odd thing that was exactly what I wanted it to be, but kind of definitely doesn't land in academia. I teach in academia, and just let it be this other world that's much more interesting to me and much more of what I want to see and read and engage with than a lot of what I see and read and engage with in my job. So
Yeah. Did you have collaborators on the project, or are you an animator as well?
No, so I've never done hand-drawn animation ever, and so, but that totally felt to me like improvisation. I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, so that felt like this improvisational movement practice of like, what does that mean to draw a thing and then draw it again and then draw it again, and it's it can go any direction I want. And so I found all of that to be totally choreographic and this very familiar kind of logic of how I think about communication and meaning. And so but no, I'd never done animation before. So I don't know, it was like total like experimental explosion of different ways of working and thinking. So yeah.
What are you teaching right now? What are you teaching, not now, but in the fall?
Yeah, so I teach, I'm teaching actually I teach in the dance department. And so I'm teaching a performance improvisation class, which is a total dream to me. So one of my favorite classes to teach is called Improvisation for Precarious Times. And it's all about how we use our bodies and the sort of brilliant intelligence that we have inside of them to negotiate desire and fear and uncertainty nervousness, excitement, kind of all at the same time with other bodies. Ideally to kind of take that information back out into the world, out of the dance studio and back in, vice versa. And then I'm teaching grad pedagogy. So I'm teaching MFA students. I'm teaching them about teaching, but really I just ask them, you know, what do we do and how do we do this? What does it even mean to teach? Who cares? Like, I don't know. So kind of major philosophical questions around pedagogy and why we even need that right now, what that looks like. So.
Could you give us just the briefest tour of the photos in the background?
Oh, yeah. Donna Haraway, if anyone is familiar with Cyborg Manifesto.
Who makes a little cameo in your piece? Not literally Donna Haraway, but it's a book, yeah.
Yeah, I would consider Donna Haraway a collaborator, although she doesn't know that she's my collaborator, but she is. This is my dog, Leica. We have some dinosaurs over here. This is my friend Amelia. This is my friend T. We have, more Amelia. Bunch of dinosaurs up there. I'm actually in the process of moving right now. So this wall I've kept somewhat aesthetically pleasing, but if I turned my camera, it's a total disaster everywhere else.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck moving. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Luca, Andrew, Kyler, the three of you came together to create a music video for Satan's Tears. Kyler, you are the luscious singer. Tell us about the song Satan's Tears and how it came to be.
Okay, so Satan's Tears is a folk tune ballad that I wrote. The melody came to me actually in a dream, and I knew the chords and I knew the tune of the chorus. And then when I woke up that morning, the lyrics came to me, and I just started singing it over and over again. And I started envisioning the concept of the song, what the message would be, and I started crying and stuff. And so I just kind of did like a voice memo on the iPhone, recorded the tune real quick, and then set it down. And then 3 weeks later, I was sitting on an airplane and I got really motivated to actually write the song. So I wrote it on a flight to Denver, Colorado. And yeah, it's a song. It's a song about an outcast and how an outcast can be seen as one way. And because they're seen in a certain way, they are deprived of, you know, what makes the things that make them human or that makes them a being. So it talks about the tears of an outcast.
Would you be willing to sing us a line from the song?
Oh, okay, let's see. So let's see. It starts off, anyone ask you how you feel? Did anyone notice that you're real? Has anyone said that you are loved? Or that you're the one they're dreaming of? Oh no, you carry the weight of the world all in your head. And no one cares to ask or even notices that you're standing there. And that's the opening of the first verse.
Yes. Available on
Everywhere.
iTunes, Amazon Music, everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's on all my playlists. Even before I saw this incredible video that Luca and Andrew collaborated with you on. Luca and Andrew, you two are artists. Tell us about, you know, what the construction of the video is like.
Yeah, well, we all met working on Lyle Cash's majority trans cast and crew feature, Death and Bowling. And as satanic luck would have it, I was playing another song about sort of a Gnostic angelic demon relationship. And Kyler asked about that song, and we started talking about music, and we were looking at Andrew's films, and Andrew and Kyler had liked my previous work with Isabel for Crook, and so we brought her on, and we wanted to kind of root the video in the Bay Area, which would evoke through the land movements from sort of the birth of modern dance and Isadora Duncan to the gender and political and racial justice movements that are carrying on to this day. So the Blue Velvet is both evoking like the Disney princess and the lack of that historic representation, but also Isadora Duncan always had Blue Velvet in every one of her performances. And then we just kind of geeked out on music videos, and Andrew got really excited, and I think could fill in some of those details.
As Luca was just saying, we also worked with Isabel, who's another very important person, and we actually shot this video in her childhood home. And
I love that.
yeah, oops, sorry, I guess we have some mail. And we also shot in the hills surrounding that area in that community, and just like, I'm sorry, I'm getting a delivery in the background. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. We geeked out on references. Kyler and I connected over Sailor Moon. We talked about Kate Bush and Maya Deren, and yes, mysticism. And I just think that we all kind of worked together to make as much magic as possible. So yeah, it really felt like a conjuring, you know, so.
Yes, absolutely conjuring. It has such a kind of an 80s vibe too, in terms of like the set design. And I was reminded of, you know, like early Whitney Houston videos.
Yep.
Gorgeous. So I feel like we did it. Could we do just a quick go around, and everybody can take a moment to sign off and send a message out into the universe?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go in order. Castles and Christy, what say you?
Well, firstly, I just think it's really important for us to take stock of the moment that we're in and give gratitude for the community, that things like Outfest and just artist relationships and sort of creative possibilities that are so much, they're like the things that we can control in a moment when our agency is being stripped. And to have the ability to reimagine and to activate creatively on our own processes. Like, you know, one thing that I didn't really get to say in my first part is just like how much of an incredible collaboration this work was, how we did this on like less than a shoestring, and it was just through everybody's generosity, through lending their talents. You know, we had like just such an incredibly talented crew of people who just showed up to help out, you know, and it's just that I think as queers, we're really good at putting together things that look really feasible out of like bamboo and schnot, you know, like we fucking can all open professional lemonade stands, you know, and that's a gift. It's also a strain, but you know, I believe in our collective power to create and imagine. And Christy and I are both so grateful to y'all continuing to put this work out there, but also all the artists and all of our communities, both national and international, who continue to make work in this moment. So thank you for that. I'll just say that. Do you want to say something?
Thank you. Yeah, you know, and I just wanted to also mention a big collaborator for me with music and in this video is a person I'm working with in all of my music right now named Matt Petty. And he's the very adorable one, and the little silver G string and plays trombone. So I just wanted to give a shout out to little Maddie.
And Luca, of course, who's also on this call, who's been so helpful in producing all of the music videos that we've done. I mean, she's just, you
She's
give
always down for the ride.
always down for the ride and so generous and so like resourceful and intelligent. So Luca, thank you so much.
Thank you both. Daniel?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I don't really have much to say other than I'm so grateful to once again be able to join this showcase in this event. And I'm very thankful that it's carving its way in this particular time. I think for many of the queer people surrounding me, when we lost our access to our communities, it's maybe was the first time since childhood that many of us had to realize just how much we had to go out into the world to find our place and to find a place that saw us properly. So I'm very grateful that this is still moving forward and that we're still going to have and be able to provide amplification in this way so that our community doesn't feel so distant.
Yeah, absolutely. Isabel?
Hi, I just want to say it's just an honor to be here. Thank you for having us. I'm so excited to see the films I haven't seen in this group of artists. I'm like just so happy to have been able to work with these artists, songwriters, Kyler, Daniel, and just incredible directors, Andrew. And thank you to Luca for producing it all and helping us get our work out. And yeah, I'm just excited for Outfest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Outfest. Peter? Final thoughts? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Here I am speaking. I just want to read like the past sentiments of gratitude that, you know, despite like the turmoil that's going on in the world, we can still find, you know, a sense of community. And like, I just think, you know, it's divine timing in a way, because so many of these pieces that are a part of this platinum showcase, like they were made a long time ago, but they're much more relevant than, you know, maybe the times they were made even. So I just want to express gratitude, like for just everyone, for Outfest, for everyone on this call. And I also want to shout out to Luca Fisher as well, who also produced my video. So she's a very Renaissance artist.
Very prolific.
Yeah, an artist of so many talents. And I just want to express gratitude to her. And yeah, just that, you know, the power of art and the power of vulnerability and community is so much more powerful than we think sometimes. So I'm really grateful for it.
Romy?
Thank you, guys. I'm really happy to be here with you all. And I hope our work can make people think for a better future. I would like to meet you all, you guys, one day, maybe, we don't know. But it's really good to think that we have all this distance, but we are thinking the same, we are having the same idea. So I'm really excited to see all your works. Thank you.
Sasha?
Just want to say thank you again. And I think art is really one of the things that gives me a lot of joy and hope and helps us imagine other possibilities, like you all have mentioned. So thank you for your work, and just want to continue to think about how we can take care of each other and continue strengthening our ties of solidarity and resistance.
Charlie?
Yeah, I echo everyone's sentiments. It's so good to see you all here, even in the weirdness of Zoom. It makes the pandemic film festival experience so much richer, even to just take an hour to do this. So it's great to see you all. I also hope to meet you one day in person. Yeah, thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Kyler?
Hi. I just want to say that I am so thankful and appreciative of all of you and the hard work that you've put out to create these productions that I never even knew as a kid existed. And I'm just so thankful that we are making these artful contributions to the world, making a difference and inspiring others, and letting it be known that we fit into, that we belong here, and that we can get shit done, we can do shit. And you all are just so inspiring, and I can't wait to consume all of your arts. And thank you, Zachary, for being so amazing. And thank you, Outfest. And thank you, Luca, because none of this would be possible. My music wouldn't be possible without Luca. And thank you, of course, Andrew, for your vision. And Izzy, you're incredible. And thank you all once again for your artful contributions. And it's really all collectively working together, helping us get closer to unifying as a human race. That's all I got.
Yeah. Luca?
Well, I just wanted to say that first off, it's really been lovely seeing so many current contemporaneous friends and future friends in this room, and seeing all the links. I was just thinking about how Peter and Andrew were both PAs on the Crook video, and we couldn't have done it without them, and it was really glorious to see Marvel dancing in the background with you, Zachary. And I also think about some of the people who just couldn't make it today, like Matt Petty and our amazing DP, Mike Formansky, and Alan Amaya, who helped on Saints Tears and did an incredible job, and AJ Strout, who helped direct Peter's video with Peter. And it's really inspiring to be here. And I just think that whether it's through these digital platforms like Zoom or through telephoto lenses and being a creep on the street, we need to figure out how we can keep making work and keep celebrating the things that we believe in and dreaming of a better future. Because I think the time that we're in is one of just progressively pushing us further and further into a sunken place of depression and despair. And we have to fight that, and we can fight that. And it's essential that we fight that for our own sanity and for the existence of this world and anything decent. So I think we're doing it today, and I'm really inspired, and I can't wait to see everyone's films. And just thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Andrew? You're the last one to go, no pressure. We do have to unmute you, however.
Thank you. I can't say, I can't express any better than anyone else here, just my gratitude and thanks, and I'm so looking forward to seeing this work. And yes, we have to keep fighting. We have to keep connecting however we can. And I love you all, and I love the people that are watching this and that maybe will watch the work. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining this Zoom call and coming from such glorious places of gratitude and social justice and brilliant creative visions of the future, manifestations of the present, for amplifying your talent to the broadest possible audience. And thank you to Outfest for making this possible, for giving us all a platform to showcase our work. It was such an honor to be here with all of you today, and I will carry it into my weekend with love. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And we will absolutely be all in one space soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Sending
you.
it out into the universe.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you all.